Have you ever considered a question? Why humans are the only animals that wear clothes? Look around you right now. What are you wearing? A shirt? Jeans? Socks? Here's something that should stop you cold. You are the only animal on this entire planet that gets dressed in the morning. Think about that. No lion has ever put on a jacket. No dolphin owns a scarf. Not one single creature in the history of life on Earth, out of millions of species, wears clothes. Except us. We are the only mammals who willingly wrap ourselves in another animal's skin. And when you really sit with that, it's bizarre. So the question isn't just why do we wear clothes? The real mystery is deeper. What happened to us? What went so strange in our story that we became the naked ape who had to invent covering from scratch? Because here's the twist. Before we ever dressed up, we stripped down. Let me take you back. Picture the African savanna about 1.2 million years ago. The sun is brutal. The air shimmers with heat. And there's an early human, one of our ancestors, running. Not sprinting, running for hours. He's chasing an antelope. This is called persistence hunting, and it is one of the most incredible things our species ever did. See, the antelope is faster, way faster, but it has a fatal weakness. It can only cool itself down by panting. Every furry animal on that plain can only pant. And in the midday heat, panting isn't enough. So our ancestor just keeps going. Step after step, mile after mile, until the antelope simply overheats and collapses. We didn't outrun our prey, we outcooled it. We literally sweated it to death. And how did we do that? Because at some point around that time, early humans did something no other big mammal did. We lost our fur. We shed that thick coat of body hair, and in its place, we evolved up to 5 million sweat glands. 5 million tiny cooling vents across our skin. We became the ultimate marathon runners of the animal kingdom, the sweatiest creature alive. Being naked wasn't a weakness, it was our superpower. And for over 1 million years, humans walked this earth completely, gloriously naked. No shame, no embarrassment. Just a hot, sweaty, brilliant hunting machine, perfectly built for the African heat. So if being naked was such a genius move, what on earth made us cover back up? Here's where the story turns, because our ancestors got restless. They caught wanderlust. They started walking out of Africa, spreading north into Europe and Asia. And they walked straight into a nightmare. The Ice Age, the Pleistocene, a world of endless winter, of freezing wind and killing cold. And suddenly, that beautiful superpower, that hairless, sweaty skin, became a death sentence. The very thing that saved us in the heat was now trying to kill us in the cold. Now, here's the problem. Evolution is slow, painfully slow. You can't just decide to grow your fur back over a hard winter. That takes tens of thousands of years. We didn't have. So our ancestors did something extraordinary. They cheated. They looked at the furry animals around them, the animals that were staying warm, and they thought, I'll just take that. They skinned those animals and wrapped the hides around their own bodies. And in that single act, they hacked evolution itself. They stole another species' adaptation and wore it. Anthropologists have a beautiful name for this. They call it a portable environment. Think about what that means. Instead of your body slowly adapting to the climate, you carry your own warm little climate with you, wrapped around your shoulders. Clothing, in that moment, wasn't fashion. It wasn't decoration. It was wearable architecture. It was the invention that let a tropical ape survive in a frozen wasteland. It's the reason we conquered the planet. But now we hit a real wall, because how do we actually know when this happened? When did humans first put on clothes? You'd think we'd just dig up an ancient shirt and check, but here's the frustrating truth. Animal hides rot. Plant fibers crumble to dust. The earliest clothes left almost no trace in the ground. So for a long time, this was a total mystery. The breakthrough, when it finally came, did not come from a fossil. It came from something absolutely disgusting. Are you ready for this? It came from lice. Stay with me, because this is genius. Scientists, including a researcher named David Reed at the University of Florida, realized something strange. Humans host two different kinds of lice. There are head lice, the ones that live in your hair, and then there are body lice. And here's the shocking part. Body lice are not really body lice at all. They're clothing lice. Under a microscope, these creatures have evolved specialized claws, hooks shaped perfectly to grip the smooth, flat fibers of woven fabric and animal hides, not the round shafts of your hair. And they lay their eggs only in one place, in the seams of your clothing. Think about what that means. Body lice literally could not exist until humans invented clothes. They evolved to live in our garments. So these lice are a living clock, a biological timestamp for the invention of clothing. So the scientists did the obvious thing. They sequenced the DNA. They tracked how long ago body lice split off and became their own separate creature from head lice. And the answer sent a chill down my spine. Body lice diverged from head lice somewhere between 170,000 and 190,000 years ago, nearly 200,000 years. And here's the part that gives me goosebumps. That date lines up almost perfectly with a severe global freeze, a brutal cold snap that geologists call marine isotope stage 6. The planet plunged into cold, and right at that moment, the clothing lice appeared. It's not a coincidence, it's proof. Tiny, itchy, revolting parasites just told us the exact moment humanity zipped up for good, nearly 200 millennia ago. Isn't that wild? The truth was hiding in the last place anyone wanted to look. But we're not done, because those first clothes, they were rough, crude, just draped animal skins thrown over the shoulders like a cape. And a draped skin is fine for a chilly evening, but in an ice age blizzard, with the wind screaming and the snow driving sideways, a loose cape will absolutely get you killed. Cold air pours in through every gap. So humans needed a leap. And around 30,000 to 40,000 years ago, they got one. One of the most underrated inventions in all of human history, the eyed bone needle. It sounds so small, doesn't it? A little sliver of bone with a hole punched in one end. But this tiny tool changed everything. For the first time, humans could pierce tough hides and stitch them together using animal sinew as thread. And suddenly, we went from draping to tailoring. From loose, drafty blankets to fitted, layered clothing. Snug sleeves that sealed at the wrist, trousers that hugged the leg, drawstrings that pulled tight to lock out the wind. Real, engineered, form-fitting garments. This is the moment clothing stopped being a survival hack and became precision technology. And this might be the most dramatic part of the whole story. Because there was another human species living right alongside us. The Neanderthals. Strong, thick, heavily muscled, built for the cold. On paper, they should have crushed us. But there's a clue in the evidence. Neanderthals seem to have relied on those simple draped capes. They never quite mastered the fitted, sewn, tailored garment. And we did. Many anthropologists argue that this exact advantage, this bespoke tailoring, is a major reason our species survived the deepest, cruelest cold, while the Neanderthals slowly vanished. A tiny bone needle may have helped decide which human species inherited the Earth. Let that sink in. We didn't win with bigger muscles. We won because we could sew. And once that needle solved the problem of staying alive, something beautiful happened. Clothing was suddenly free to become something more, because now we had spare energy, spare imagination. Early humans started threading beads onto their garments. They began dyeing fibers in color. They took this artificial fur, this survival gear, and they turned it into something else entirely. A language. The world's first visual language spoken without a single word. Your clothing started to say who you were, what tribe you belonged to, your status, your beliefs, your sense of shame, your sense of pride, your sense of self. And that's the incredible arc of it all. Look back at the whole journey. We were furry. Then we chose to be naked, and it made us the greatest hunters on the plains. Then the world froze, and to survive, we wrapped ourselves in the warmth of other animals. Then we learned to stitch, and that skill may have saved our entire species. And finally, what began as a desperate shield against the colds became art, became identity, became you. So the next time you get dressed in the morning, pause for just 1 second. That shirt on your back isn't just fabric. It's the ghost of a million-year story. It's the memory of the sweaty, naked ape, the frozen ice age, the disgusting little clock ticking in the seams, and one tiny bone needle that helped decide who we became. You are the only creature that gets dressed, and now you know exactly why.